right, we're back here on the Sonrise Morning Show. I'm Anna Mitchell, joined by DJ Hueneman, who is a chastity educator for Pregnancy Center East in the Cincinnati area. He's online at practicalpurity.com. And DJ, let's talk about chastity. A lot of people, when they hear that word, chastity, they think, I'm not allowed to have sex. Is that what chastity is?
That is a really common misconception. So chastity is often confused with abstinence, which, as you said, just implies simply not having sex, not doing something. But why would anyone want to follow a list of repressive rules that promise no reward? I'm a man who understands that authentic masculinity requires action. So the thought of not doing something immediately puts my manly sense on high alert. So chastity requires temperance, which involves controlling and moderating our desire for pleasure.
Mm-hmm. Now, you have a great quote from St. Bonaventure that I'd like to read here and then get your thoughts about. It's, chastity without charity is a lamp without oil. Take away the oil, and the light will not shine. Take away charity, chastity will no longer please.
Yes, that's such a great quote. And for the theology lightweights out there like myself, charity means love. That's what they're talking about. So however you approach it, chastity will seem like a crazy concept if it's not viewed through the proper lens. And what is that proper lens? You just said it, love. Mm-hmm. So the virtue of chastity only makes sense when tied to love. It's essential to first provide a healthy dose of authentic love before talking, looking, or even thinking about chastity. So without a proper definition of love, chastity just doesn't seem worth the demands. I think this is why our culture looks at chastity as some kind of archaic idea, because as a culture, we're confused about love.
Well, I mean, yeah, for sure, we are confused about love, because I think that a lot of people think that love is just this kind of squishy feeling that you have. And so when a man is thinking about love, I mean, it's like all of a sudden, if that's going to be your inspiration behind practicing chastity, I mean, really? That just makes you weak, is what they're thinking.
Yeah. So it's quite the opposite, though.
Girly. That's the word I was looking for. It sounds girly.
Girly and not
chastity
manly.
Sounds girly. Yeah.
Yeah, and chastity, I think, is often geared towards women, and guys are kind of left out of the picture. And it comes from that concept of the idea of love is just this wonderful feeling. And we see this in a lot of popular songs and TV shows. But I'm not against wonderful feelings, but love is more than that. St. John Paul II said, love is not merely a feeling. It's an act of the will that consists of preferring in a constant manner the good of others to the good of oneself. And I remember a specific time in my life when love was demanded of me. Here's the situation. I woke up. I'm married. I love my wife. My wife loves me. But I woke up and I heard this noise that sounded kind of like bah. And, I immediately turned to my wife and see if she heard the noise, and she wasn't there. She wasn't in bed. So being in a groggy state, thoughts began to fill my head like, oh my gosh, my wife was just stolen by a goat. These things go through your head.
You hadn't quite woken up yet.
Yeah, so I slowly woke up, rubbed my eyes, and I realized the sound was not a goat sound. It was a sound. So I realized the noise was coming from the bathroom. So I slowly approached the bathroom, and I found my wife noisily vomiting into the toilet. You must
Sorry
know
for all of you eating breakfast right now, but go on.
Sorry, yeah, but I mean, you must know that I'm someone who generally hates dealing with puke.
Does anybody like it?
I mean, I was a firefighter and a paramedic, and I willingly responded to many grotesque and bloody scenes working as a paramedic. But my least favorite calls were the ones that involve vomiting patients. I extremely dislike puke, but I love my wife. So do you think I walked into this vomit-filled bathroom and had wonderful feelings for my wife? Oh, look how you're just laying there with, some vomit in your hair.
Sweet.
No, I did not. But did I love her? Did I prefer her good to the good of myself? You better believe it. So I helped her. So it's important when we talk about chastity, we first have to talk about love in the proper context. It's not a feeling, it's an action. And a lot of people are confused about this concept of love. I myself being one of those persons who was confused for a large part of my life.
Well, you think about it, and this idea of self-sacrifice. I mean, you look at any superhero movie and you see a lot of self-sacrifice in order to save others. Don't you think that we should be looking at chastity in the same way?
Yeah, and every kid growing up, at least every guy that I've talked to, myself included, we want to be superheroes. Who do we idolize? You know, the superheroes. If Matt was here, he would...
Oh, yeah, he'd go off on a list.
He would list all the DC comics and everything. But you know, that's who we're called to be. It's just stamped into our hearts. We are called to be the protectors. And so when you think about chastity, it's looked at as an unmanly thing. But in reality, it is the manliest thing to protect another person through your own sacrifice. Jesus himself said the best thing you can do for your friends is to lay down your life for your friends. And so when someone sacrifices, you feel extremely manly. And yes, women are called to chastity as well.
Well, of course.
But guys are not left out of the picture. This is for guys as well.
Definitely. We've been talking to DJ Hueneman. He's chastity educator for Pregnancy Center East here in the Cincinnati area. That would be East, Pregnancy Center East. And DJ, if listeners want to check out your blog post on this and your other thoughts on charity and pure manhood, where can they go?
Yeah, you can ask me specific questions or check out my blog at practicalpurity.com.
All right. We'll have that linked at our blog at sonrisemorningshow.com. Thanks, DJ.
Thank you. Have a good day. God bless.
All right. That will do it for this Friday,